Right, joining us for a discussion now, Sunny Gavaskar and Farooq Engineer. I'll start with you, Sunny bhai. India-Pakistan is always called a game of nerves. Do you think that was the biggest difference, how the two teams handle their nerves? I mean, look at how the Indian openers approached the target. And then on the other hand, you have the Pakistani top order totally looking confused there. Do you think India handled their nerves better today?
Well, certainly the Pakistani batsmen looked a lot nervous. The running between the wickets was atrocious, to say the least. There was so much of a yes-no situation. And then after that, when there was an escape, both batsmen admonishing each other. Now, that is not a good sign, because when that happens, it actually shows that there is not enough gel between the players of the team. And quite clearly that came out in the running between the wickets. And later on also, there were periods when I thought that Pakistan could have attacked just a little bit more, but were patting balls back or just not even looking for the singles. And that meant that they were 15 to 20 runs less than what otherwise they would have scored.
All right, let's talk about Virat Kohli, the highest scorer for India today, as he's been in the past few years. Sunny bhai, for us Indian fans, whenever Virat is on the crease, we feel reassured. There is a sense of calm. Does that happen to you as well, whenever Virat is there in the middle?
Oh, yes. I think because, look, he's played in all kinds of situations. He's played all over the world. He scored runs against every single opposition. He's got big runs. And he's a positive player. He has a positive impact on the player at the other end as well. And the player at the other end begins to play a lot better when Virat is there. And don't forget the running between the wickets. He's electric. He makes the other person run. He was today with Suresh Raina, another tremendous runner between the wickets, another person who thrives on confidence. And batting with Virat, you could see Raina, though he had come into bat before Virat, Raina grew in confidence in Virat's company, and eventually it was a cakewalk.
All right, you talk about Suresh Raina, and I'll go across to Farooq Engineer now. We've seen Suresh Raina do very well in the T20 game for India. But Farooq, one big question mark against Suresh Raina used to be the way he used to handle short pitch bowling. Did you see a marked improvement in that, especially the way he was playing those pull shots along the ground, never tried to hit it in the air? Do you see a big change? Do you think he's worked on this?
Absolutely. He's worked hard on his sort of mistakes. And as Sunny rightly said, he grew in confidence batting with Virat Kohli. And he was matching Kohli shot by shot. Fabulous partnership. And I think number 3 and 4, perhaps the best in the competition, in the world, I would say. Right. Virat was superb. And you were talking about nerves earlier on. Pakistan were never in the match, as far as I'm concerned. They made such a nervous, shaky start. And as Sunny said about the run-outs, that shows lack of, combination in the team or whatever. But India thoroughly deserved to win. And right. I think we thrashed Pakistan today.
All right. Sunny bhai, same question to you. Have you seen some changes the way Suresh Raina has been tackling those short pitch balls? Because he had this time away from the game.
Not really, excepting I think the ball over here at Dhaka was coming below the shoulder. That's about it, really. There's nothing that suggests at the moment that he's got better at it. But we'll have to just wait till he plays on pitches where the ball bounces above the shoulder.
All right. Talking about marked improvements, anyway, let's talk about the Indian bowlers. I'm talking about Indian fast bowlers in particular. Did you see any change of strategy? Because we saw some back-of-the-hand slower deliveries from them, some bounces as well, something that they were shy of using earlier. Did you see some plan there today?
Just a little bit, not a great deal, because look, in the final over, Shami was taken for the most expensive over of the innings. So I think there is still a great deal of improvement needed. They're still bowling length balls, which are being carted for runs. They're not trying the Yorkers enough. So I think there's a fair bit to go.
Right. Farooq, to you, because you had also raised question marks about Indian bowling. How did you see them perform today?
Well, India weren't stretched today. Getting Pakistan out for such a low score. They weren't. Amit Mishra, hats off to him. What a fantastic spell. He came at the right time and bowled magnificently. I don't know why he's not been in the team all along, but he's a tremendous player. India made the right decisions by playing 3 spinners and how well, the thing played. Yuvraj, a little disappointed today. I mean, he would be the most disappointed person. Didn't have a good game at all, dropped a catch, scored 1 run, and he bowled. He gave 15 runs in 1 over. It's a match he'd like to forget, but I'm sure he'll come back strong and prove that he's worthy of the team.
All right, you mentioned Amit Mishra. Sunny, to you, I'm just looking at this stat. This is only his second T20 international. Are you surprised with this?
Not at all, because a leg spinner, once he has the confidence in himself, once he has the belief in himself, once he has the belief that the captain is going to give him a long spell, give him the kind of field that is essential for a bowler of that type, then he begins to bowl well. See, the one difference that you need for a leg spinner from the other spinners is, for a leg spinner, the captain has to put a field for the bad deliveries. For the others, you do not put a field for bad deliveries. Other spinners, you put a field for good deliveries. For a leg spinner, you've got to give him protection for the bad delivery. You give him that protection, he'll bowl you more good balls, and that's what happened with Amit Mishra.
All right, Sunny, what I meant to ask you was that, with the talent that he's shown in the IPL and the 2 international games, are you surprised with the fact that he's just played 2 T20 internationals till now?
Oh yes, I think you could say, but then India has hardly played any T20s. We just played 1 T20 in the last 1 year, and the other T20s India has played overseas. So perhaps overseas India goes in with 3 seamers and 2 spinners, and the 2 spinners have been Jadeja and Ashwin, because they're pretty handy with the bat as well.
Right. Farooq, I remember you saying this when we were previewing this game. You said fielding is going to be the big factor. Today, India looks second as far as fielding is concerned. You think a lot is to be desired from the Indian fielding unit, whatever we saw of them today?
Yeah, absolutely. They have very highly paid fielding coaches, and I'm sure they work very hard. But our fielding needs to improve, far below standards compared to Sri Lanka or South Africa or Australia. Our fielding is nowhere on par with them. And to win these matches, to win these crucial games, you're fielding every run counts. You can't give 2 runs instead of 1. And this is the reason, why India have been losing lately. Our fielding certainly has to be improved. Talking about the opening batsman also,
right.
we had a good start today. And of course, what a platform for Virat Kohli to play such a magnificent innings. He's improving all the time. He reminds me a bit like Kevin Peterson, plays the ball a bit late, and the way he thrives on confidence, to step down the pitch against the spin of Afridi and hit him, absolutely brilliant.
Okay, we're looking at positive, and since Farooq mentions the opener, Sunny bhai, sometimes when you're chasing a small total, openers can make those blunders by really not knowing how to approach that target. Were you happy with the way they dealt with it, remained calm?
Yes, very happy, because really there was no pressure. No pressure, because if you're chasing at 6.5, if your asking rate is 6.5, then there really shouldn't be any pressure created by the loss of early wickets. And that's what Dhawan and Rohit Sharma ensured didn't happen. They made sure that India went to about 50 without loss, even though it might have been just a little bit slow. But once they had laid the foundation, there was always going to be just one result, and India winning. It was just a matter of when they were going to win, with how many deliveries to spare. And I think the margin is very impressive, very, very impressive, and very encouraging for the matches that are still to come.
Okay, Sunny bhai, like we mentioned right at the start of the show, that Pakistan have never beaten India in a World Cup game. Now, this just can't be a coincidence. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a reason why this is happening?
I think they are a little too tense, Pakistan, when they're playing India in a World Cup. They don't seem to be as tense in, say, the Asia Cup or even bilateral matches. But certainly at the World Cup, they seem to have something which tightens them up. Their players play under a lot of self-imposed pressure, and I think that doesn't help their game at all. They don't play as naturally, as freely as they do in other tournaments.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the final few questions on MS Dhoni's captaincy. I'll start with you, Farooq. We saw him get R. Ashwin to bowl the opening over. Then within the first 8 overs, he had 5 bowlers that he used. Within the first 11 overs, all 6 bowlers were used. Do you think there was a plan there to just throw Pakistan's plan out of gear? MS Dhoni had come out with that thought?
This was Dhoni at his best. I mean, he knew the Pakistan batsmen were shaky and nervous, and he never allowed them to settle in. And that's the beauty of captaincy. He captained the team magnificently today, and he broke the, the bowlers responded magnificently. Pakistan, for me, were never in the game today. We were superior. We outplayed them in every department. But you mentioned earlier, can India beat Pakistan or walk over Pakistan in every game? No, I tend to disagree, because on their day, Pakistan could certainly be a handful. People like Afridi and Hafiz, Umar Gul, Shoaib, these are class players. But today, India was certainly one up and thoroughly deserved to be on top.
Saeem bhai, same question to you. I'm just looking at the scorecard. Not a single Indian bowler bowled more than 2 overs on a trot. He kept rotating those bowlers, because Pakistan in previous games were used to having Shami and Bhuvneshwar bowl those 6 overs in the beginning. Do you think this was by design? MS Dhoni at his best?
Definitely by design. He was on top of the game today, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. There were a couple of occasions when he might not have said anything, but a couple of gestures did signify to the player concerned that he might have been a little bit late getting to the ball and getting the ball back in. And I think that is exactly what you want from a captain. You don't want too many gestures, but he was on top of the game today, and that again is a great sign that Mahendra Singh Dhoni refreshed after that little break that he had when he didn't play the Asia Cup. It can happen. Look, captaincy can take a lot out of you, and if you have a little bit of a break, you come back that much better, and I think we are seeing the signs of that.
All right, like Saeem bhai says, MS Dhoni was on top of his game, and so India were on top as far as Pakistan are concerned. Thanks so much for joining us, Sunny Gavaskar and Farooq Engineer. Of course, you'll see a lot of these two gentlemen on NDTV during the World T20.